In a world that doesn't understand so much, I'm asked a little bit, at least, why am I trying to talk to you now? And the end result of that is that we face an extinction level event. The reality of people who are mutilating life, the reality of trillions and trillions of dollars because of COVID in the hands of universities, so they can create their database of everything that life is genetically. They're going to end life. The reality of people who are trying to ignite sunfire on this planet without a clue is truly an extinction event. Along with ending life on Earth, we have ocean life that's in a crisis at the moment. So much pollution that it can't hardly survive it. We have trillions of tons of poison dumped in the water supplies, on the water supplies, under it, over it, around it, through it, everywhere. We have a population that cannot be sustained as it is. We have livestock that are being confined to the point of a pandemic can easily take them out. China lost half its herd, 3 billion herd, or I don't remember how much it was, but beyond real recognition. And there are plant pandemics coming, insects that are going to die and take the rest of the population of life on Earth with it. You think they're not basic to our needs, but the fact is that the chain of life has to start somewhere. In other words, it needs food supplies. And primary food supply begins with insects in a lot of places, in a lot of ways, in a lot of time. So, and then we have, the genetic mutilation of corn, which is a grass, and that produces the end result that one disease in a corn field could result into a pandemic throughout all of the grass species, which are the food for so much livestock and everything else on this planet. It's where a lot of life begins. And that's because they sterilize it and they create it to produce more corn, and everybody says hooray, but the end result is they're removing every form of defense that the corn plant has. And without defenses, it just takes one biological event to destroy so much, and you can't recover from that. So the deal is that we have to recognize the consequences of where we are, and part of those is that people want what they want, and in this nation they want all the immigrants to move out because it changed life, they figure, but actually it did not. The reason that life has changed is because you have attacked the resources and removed most of them, and created mountains of garbage and pollution everywhere, and these things are your fault. You chose to do that. You chose to let them have the money. You chose for genetic research. You chose to do everything that the universities wanted to do because you're cult followers, and cult followers do what they're told to do, and they're told never to question their leaders. So you can't question your leader, and you believe whatever media tells you is a propaganda tool of a university. It's nothing less than that. It's a propaganda tool of the university. Have you ever heard anything from the television that is your source of everything that wasn't university is God? Did you ever hear of anything that evolution wasn't real? I mean, really. And I mean, the global warming, still a foundation of failure, even though the consequences are real now. It's just ridiculous. The amount of things that you refuse to understand. So, and we look at Trump coming into office. His policy is to remove immigration, and of course that's exactly like Hitler came to power under. They're going to remove the Jews. And that means that they're going to refuse, and then you have armies that rise up, and somebody shoots somebody, and then so you have secret society armies, secret police that come and rout them out and haul them like cattle everywhere to get them out. And then of course there's the final decision, or whatever Hitler called it, and so on. And the end result of that, of course, is that the war ends up the war here and there and everywhere ends up traveling across the world, and the entire planet becomes involved in war with weapons of mass destruction. And the end result of it all is that without law, you don't stand a chance of survival, which makes it an extinction level event. And there is even a potential asteroid that was, hurtling to this Earth, supposed to be here in 27 or 29, I forget which, and might or need to be viewed. I don't know. They refuse to release that data, and you can't depend on them anyway. But nonetheless, what we need to know is what we can do to avoid our own extinction. And what we can do is to accept the reality that we need to know the evidence as best we can without the tampering of evidence and the manipulation of details and the fraud of foreign languages and all kinds of things that university does do. They create, 20, 30, 50, who knows how many words to describe one single simple thing, so that you can't understand, so that they can evade the questions and create a maze for you to go down, which they will control to refuse you any authority over them. But it still comes down to, a hair is a hair, or a finger is a finger, and things like that. So their attempt for fraud is a treason. It's just to control you. So we need to know what is true. As I've said repeatedly, we need to know what is true before the end of life comes. And you can say all you want that, we'll wait and see, which is what you've done for the last 50 years. We'll wait and see. You can't be sure. Thousands of people can't be wrong. Well, in the first place, it's like a hospital. You think you're going to go to a hospital, and the hospital's supposed to protect you from the doctor or whatever. But that isn't true. The hospital doesn't. Everybody is the same. When you see something at your work that wasn't quite right, you go report it, and what happens to you if you do? You don't get to stay at the job. Same is true for everybody. It's not going to be that way. And as far as the universities go, you don't have a vote. Those people, the thousands of millions of people that are in university, do not have a vote about what they believe. They do not have a vote. And whatever they believe, they think, is completely destroyed by the fact that you don't have the top diploma of this area, so you can't have a say. So the end result is that there's just a tiny few of the elite at university that make all the decisions for everything, that make all the decisions regarding the, trying to ignite atoms on fire here on this earth in a tomac reactor. That's all it can do. It cannot do what they claim with fusion. That is junk. That is junk science. It was proven wrong in 2012. They're not trying to do that. But they are trying to ignite atoms on fire. And a second after ignition, the Earth is dead, because you can't put it out. So I'm asking you for one, this time before Trump takes over and starts his campaign to remove immigrants and things like that, which will end up badly, because, millions of people don't move that easily, and they have nowhere to go. And they have nothing to eat or nothing to drink if they get there. And of course, you have Mexico City involved in that. It is 22 million people, and they're running out of water. If they have no water, they have to move. They have to. There is no choice. They have to move. They all have to move, because when you run out of water and you drain it all from your aquifer, the aquifer collapses into a rock and you can't fill it back up. So the end result is that they're doing everything wrong, and everything wrong means they have to move. And so the only option they really have is to move to the American border, and the American border cannot, withstand them, and so they're going to cross that border with guns or whatever it takes so they can get across here, and then of course they'll attack the water resources of Texas and Arizona and everywhere. Even though you can't be supported that way, and so they'll all have to move further north and so on and so on, and it will just fall into a chaos, because that's just how reality is. You cannot survive without water. They have to have water. You have done nothing to avoid that situation. Nothing to avoid anything. You are standing on the edge of a crisis beyond your comprehension. Now, I hope that it doesn't occur that way, but of course we are standing on the edge of a reality that the evidence proves is true. We can fall into a pit, into the abyss of we can't get out. And we have to do what we can do at this point in time. Hopefully it's not too late already. We have to, provide the resources that will keep Mexico City in its place. We have to take away their right. You have to stop buying their agricultural food, because a lot of the problem is from they created a agriculture with irrigation down there, and that took a lot of the water supplies that they were otherwise using, and they have to stop that. And that means that a lot of your produce and things that you depend upon in this nation is going to stop, because they're going to stop. They have to stop because they don't have the water for that. And we have to collect water from Greenland and other places that are melting the water, so that they have to come and to give them some water so they can possibly stay, because we can't have them moving into American soil, because there's just no water for them, and the food supply will end, and all kinds of things are going to go wrong. And you can argue that, but you can't stop that. You can say, well, we'll wait and see, but once the reality comes, you can't stop it. It's, and nothing proves that more than the claim that they're going to create fusion or bring the same fire that's on the sun here to this earth. You cannot stop an atomic fire once you ignite it. The sun, they claim, has million-mile-long flames, and they don't actually know how long it is, because they can't see into the core. They can't see to what's beneath the flames. It's a million-mile-long flame, a sphere of fire that they cannot see through. In other words, they have no clue. They just have an imagination, a fantasy and a delusion about what is or is not happening on the sun. They have no clue whatsoever. And they deny the laws that are known, such as thermodynamics and things like that. They just do. Because they want the money. It gives them jobs. Trillions of dollars have been spent for those machines with tomac reactors to create jobs. It gives jobs to each and every one of those physics in the physics department. Trillions of dollars goes a long way. And it's their job, it's their pride, it's their power, it's their glory, or whatever you want to call it. And they don't want that to end. And who does? If it was your job, you wouldn't want it to end either. So they lie, and they continue to lie, and they figure that it'll just go its own way, and when it stops, we'll do something else. But once they actually ignite sunfire on this planet, you will be incinerated. Once the genetic basis of life has been mutilated once too often, it will crash. It will crash into the annihilation, the extinction, the extermination of every life source that is on this planet. once a genetic mutilation of seeds and things have gone too far, a pandemic will come through this earth, all of it, and wipe out everything we depend upon, everything that other living things depend upon, and we depend upon other life. That is, we eat other living things. If we don't have living things to eat, people become cannibals. That's how it is. That's the reality of it. So we're asking you, or I am asking you, to wake up. This is the last chance, last time. We're standing on the end of your ability to say no. This is the point of no return. You have all the evidence you need to understand that now we have to make a decision based upon the reality of our truth. You have to wake up.